Good morning and welcome to Smashy Business. I'm Lubna Hamdan.
And I'm Richard Fitzgerald.
And today we're talking property developer Danube is eyeing an expansion into Ras Al Khaimah in line with the casino's opening. He also hinted at casinos opening in Dubai. And then Paris-based bank Rothschild has opened a new office in Riyadh's finance hub, which was empty for a very long time, and now it's just booming. And then Google is about to make your life a whole lot easier. Stay tuned and find out how.
How's it going, Lubna?
It's going great, except for the fact that I look like an Oompa Loompa because I got a fake spray tan.
Okay.
Totally unrelated, but I look like a Trump supporter, I feel. I look like I've been inspired by Trump.
I didn't notice, but I think you look fine. Yeah, it works on camera, right? When you need a bit of makeup and tanning on camera.
True.
Speaking of Trump, and this wasn't planned, but he got fined last week for something, right?
Yeah,
and then
as always.
As always, for whatever, Trump stuff. And there was a headline then in The Guardian the next day that he launched sneakers, high tops, gold high tops, like proper gold high tops.
You're kidding.
With an American flag for $399. He launched his own high tops. Like, what a Trump move, you know?
I bet you they're already sold out.
Probably.
I bet you.
My friend sent it to me and said, I'm going to get us two of these. You know what I mean?
Hey, I would wear them.
The only part I don't like is the "Make America Great Again" part. But it's this gutso, isn't it? It's kind of like
absolutely. It's just he's owning everything.
Yeah.
He owned the fake spray tan. He owned the hair. He was just like, this is what I look like, and I'm embracing it.
Yeah, the hair. Yeah, exactly. The color, like you did say, he is very orange looking, but the Super Bowl was last week, and Kanye, also someone who kind of owns stuff. He did a video of his sneakers and in the car. Like, he basically.
They should have collabed.
They should have. They probably do on other things, but yeah, they've been in touch before. But yeah, we were both at the Brand Me Summit on Saturday. There was a lot of local business people speaking over the weekend,
including yourself. Yes.
Yeah, I spoke at a panel about positioning yourself for social media. But I was just impressed with the turnout, the Canadian University campus and City Walk. Hundreds of people. It's the second or third weekend in a row where on Saturdays you've got like thousands of people going to learn in their own time, buying tickets and stuff like that. Yeah. And then on the other side, you've got like 50,000 people going to Untold. The last story that we were tagged in Lovin Dubai was at 4:30 a.m. this morning.
Oh my God.
Do you know, and that was all weekend. Do you know what I mean? Like, it literally went on to that hour. It's proper festival vibes.
Yeah. It's crazy though how much is going on in Dubai at the moment. It's just so exciting where you can choose whatever you want to do, but there's so much to do that you don't even have the time. Right? I actually had tickets to Untold and I couldn't even make it to the festival because there was so much going on.
Yeah.
We were at the Brand Me Summit. It was quite impressive, for the fact that it was like two influencer brothers, Ayman and Ghazi, who launched it. And Ayman had a fight the day before.
Yeah.
And he still made it on Saturday. He was all bruised up.
Rashid Belhassan, the Money Kicks fight thing on Friday night. Yeah.
And so many people were there. Like Steven Seagal was there.
Yeah.
And it was just so random. Crazy, right? But yeah, so the summit was interesting.
Yeah.
For one simple fact, which is I think your panel it had so much context and quality. It talked about how social media is not just a marketing tool, but a business as well. You spoke about that particularly. And then Fatty Cakes made a very interesting comment about, blasting his cousin DJ Khaled, said they're not on speaking terms anymore because of Palestine. He said, if you're not talking about Palestine, get out of my life. But one thing that I noticed is that there's a difference between, events that are set up by journalists and proper business people and then events set up by influencers, right? You just don't get the same quality. I know you're giving me that look like, why, Lubna? Did you have to mention
smile.
That?
No, I mean, we were talking about the censorship of a post, but I think, do you think that journalists set up events? Because when I've seen media companies set up events in the past, they're actually not that good at it.
Yeah.
But they're not that good at it. Like, I think events people need to set up events. Like, whenever Bloomberg have an event, it's not as good as when Informa put it on, right? Like, if Informa are doing a JV for Leap, or Ray is doing Step this week, right? And they try to be media and events, and they realize they're better at events.
Yeah.
Like, their flywheel during the year is better at like sending out forms to get speakers to fill out things. I think that's why as Augustus Media we haven't gone into events, because it's a different skill set. It's a different sort of organization. You can be very organized on publishing content, but to really run programming and content and logistics and marketing and ticket sales and the best events. I speak at a lot of them, and not flexing, but I go to a lot of them, and the best ones are the ones that send you a proper form, give you all and give you all the details. And get all the details from you, and then produce really good assets for you to promote, and then sync you in with the right panel in a very organized way and prep you in the right way, and not let it all on the moderator.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with you. I think that we need a mix of both. I think that the media companies are falling behind in how to make an event kind of, I don't want to sound too old school, but cool, cool, just to attend, like not boring, right? Because when you tell a lot of people about the World Government Summit, it's an amazing event, right? But a lot of people just are not interested in it because it sounds really boring and it's like quite formal and stuff, even though it was incredibly successful this year. They, got Sam Altman and so many people were there. But what I notice about Brand ME is, again, like the quality of the conversations on stage were just lacking a little bit. So I think,
it wasn't. You know what? I've seen that like NAS Summit do their ones, and what was fresh about events geared towards younger people, especially the NAS Summit formula, is they dress two people up on stage, and they become your kind of live entertainment.
Yeah.
And literally, the crowd are jumping all day. They're trying to get on stage. They're between the things. They're making fools out of themselves. They're doing their party tricks, right? It's an influencer summit.
Yeah.
And I thought Brand Summit would be a bit like that, and it kind of fell halfway between a bit of that and a bit of like, STEP and SEF or whatever.
Yeah.
But look, like it's the first one they did, and these things grow.
True.
Like to get probably 1,000 people over a weekend is no mean feat in itself.
That's true. They actually did do a great job for a first event. It was great. There was even one panel with Sajin from sellanycar.com, and the title was "My Kids Are Gonna Be Born Rich," or "My kids are gonna be rich," something like that.
I think that's the title of his book or something as well. Yeah, they nailed it.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
No, they did a great job.
And you spoke so before. Just before that, there was a panel with Rizwan Sajan.
Yes, exactly. So moving on to our first story of the day, we did get an exclusive interview. I had to chase him down the crowd after he left the stage. But so property developer Danube is planning on expanding into Ras Al Khaimah. And Rizwan Sajan, the chairman and founder of Danube Group, they own a lot of things, furniture stores, etc. He mentioned that casinos are opening in Dubai as well, which was interesting because so far it's been rumors, but everyone is talking about it. And so they're looking to jump on that wave of the real estate boom that's expected to happen when the casinos open in Ras Al Khaimah.
Yeah, and like he literally just dropped in that they'll come to Dubai. It was a good line of questioning. I think we do some work. We have Lovin, RAK, and we do some work with the media office down there as well. And I do a lot of the RAK half marathon actually is happening this weekend. It's a very good event. They bring international runners in, and it's the leading half marathon in the UAE. It's a really nice event, and you can see on Al Marjan Island over the last few years running around. You can see more of the UAE, of the Dubai development companies. Like you can see Dubai Investments are looking there, a bit like Sharjah, but like it's in the past everything out of RAK was RAK companies like RAK Bank or RAK Chromatics. Now you can see that property real estate people like Imar and there's an address going to be built in down there, and now even Armani are going to. Don't know if that's released or not, but there's going to be hotels like that in Ras Al Khaimah as well. And obviously the Wynn Resort is the one that was announced. It's just fascinating. I think smart property developers like Danube will just look at that and go, okay, cool. If hotels are opening and if tourism is increasing and you put an apartment beside it, the value of that property is going to go up. So people always look to invest in property that there's something happening around the area.
And you know what? How great would it be to have like a kind of like a summer home in Ras Al Khaimah? If you've got the money, and it seems like a lot of people do have the money.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Totally, it's a different vibe down there. Like it's a staycation hub for UAE residents anyway. So
I mean, with the stress levels in Dubai, we work longer hours than people in New York, apparently, according to reports.
okay,
So it would be nice to have.
New York should work
someone.
harder. That's why the American economy is in decline.
Agreed.
Yeah, cool.
Agreed. You know what I think is fascinating, though? I think you just gave us an exclusive there about the Armani opening in Ras Al Khaimah, and I think it's fascinating.
Check it, but yeah,
I will fact check it. It's fascinating that you have all the, all the exclusives, but you're keeping them all to yourself. He doesn't give me anything, guys.
I hear these in conversation. That one I heard 4 or 5 months ago. So yeah, but I don't know the details of it. But look, it's not even. It's just not a surprise, right? Like I think that's the point, right? Up until now, there's 4 or 5 hotels, and you can just see more and more. And the beautiful beaches. Ras Al Khaimah has the mountains as well. It's got a lot to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. Paris-based bank Rothschild, this was just announced a couple of hours ago. They're planning on opening, they're opening an office in Riyadh, Riyadh's finance hub. It's the $10 billion King Abdullah financial district north of the capital. It stood empty for years, but is now among the most in demand for foreign and local firms. The bank said in a statement on its website, this move reflects the company's commitment and conviction to the growth potential in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, amazing.
How exciting is that?
Pretty cool.
It's so cool. I mean, Saudi Arabia is just killing it out there, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, Rothschild, obviously a big name, and what would they do exactly, Lovin? It would be more like private wealth, high net worth, capital management.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, so like private banking in Saudi. And investment banking and stuff. I think it's fascinating. I think, when you mentioned King Abdullah Financial District or Centre, that's the center of the program HQ, the sort of place to get companies into Saudi.
Yeah,
and all the rules around program HQ are kind of evolving as well, tax incentives and everything like that.
Do you see it becoming Riyadh's DIFC? Perhaps?
When you finished that sentence, the first thing for me was about law and regulation. All the media office and His Highness posted a few days ago the numbers of DIFC, how many companies are registered there, and we talked previously about Internet City and Media City, but DIFC, like when it started at 100 companies, now it's got thousands. DIFC is a huge success, huge success. It's got 2 stock exchanges, right? Like 2 bourses, 2 exchanges, and it's got all the startups are there, and it's got all this regulation, this common law or whatever the law is, right? Like, so it's a huge success, and it's got the F&B and everything. But as a place to register your business, it's really successful. I think Saudi still has to figure out their legal stuff. We talked last week about the property and the real estate and everything like that, but I think they're still figuring out their modern legal system and everything like that. What they've got right is you kind of, mentioned that it stood empty for years, but it's a beautiful area. It's stunning. It's got Zaza Hadid's, the design of the metro on the way in. The buildings are stunning. The ambience, the cafes, walking around there, it doesn't feel empty now. And, I've been at, cultural events there, fashion shows there. There's a cinema there. Like, there's a lot going on there. They have food festivals there and things like that. And there's beautiful, stunning kind of buildings. So it is happening, and companies are making choices to be there. How soon and how will compete with Dubai? They're building at the moment, or they finished building the new Tadawul Stock Exchange floor. Not sure exactly where it is. It could be there. And I know a photographer who's under NDA about when it opens or whatever.
Right.
So I haven't been able to see the photos, but like that type of stuff. So there's a lot of momentum in around that development.
Yeah, it's really interesting stuff, honestly. I just remembered a story years ago where Habib al-Mulla mentioned, and I know I mention him often, but he's an exciting character. He said DIFC has become more of a food court than a financial district.
Yeah.
But I guess, it's still so successful, and the F&B there is doing really well.
I don't think Wall Street would complain if it was known to have good restaurants, right? Like, it's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think, if companies like Rothschild are moving over there, it is interesting. It's a significant thing. You know, they're not afraid of opening a business in Saudi, legally,
absolutely.
culturally, and they see the capital opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever see a merger of some of the regional exchanges? Do you think that they'll ever merge?
I'm not a capital markets expert. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Like, should
Do you
we
think
have?
they'll do better? Do you think if they merge? I was just wondering about this the other day, and I think we should have an expert on the show to talk about it.
Yeah, I think Waleed's Shahabi is going to come on Wednesday, right? And he's a capital markets kind of commentator, so he'd be a good guy to ask that. You know, but a bigger question, like, should we have a regional currency? Like, should we have, you know, this sort of I don't know. Like, it worked for Europe. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Like, I think the independent countries are doing well on their own now, but so something that links things together and could be good at this level.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. Google is about to make your life a whole lot easier. It's testing a feature that calls businesses on your behalf and waits on hold until an agent is available. The Talk to a Rep feature eliminates long wait times by connecting users to a customer service agent directly, but it's only accessible in English. It's going to be accessible in English only. It's interesting. It sounds like something petty, but how much time do we waste waiting on the phone for agents when we call businesses and stuff? Everything is like automated nowadays. I remember a couple of years back when Emirates NBD launched their what was it called, the lady
Liv.
who just Liv, was it?
Or they had a lady as well who.
It was like a robot,
okay.
basically, that was famous, whatever. But people got so pissed off because they could not get a hold of an actual person. And we talk about AI, and everyone, there's so many like memes online. Just AI, but what is AI and how is it affecting our lives? And that's one of the ways in which it's actually making our lives not easier, but just more difficult, right? Like waiting on the phone for an agent to answer. Anyway, you don't seem too excited about the story, so I'm going to move on to the next one.
Well, I think it's fascinating. I'm just thinking about customer service in general on all things, right? Like, because if we're in a subscription area, it's banks, it's everything we do, right? Like a lot of when I order InstaShop, I get a call after if there's something. Everything's automated now. I'm thinking of our subscription service, of how can we build that in as well. But then just the land grab and the things that are happening on AI, like who's going to win, right? Like everyone's trying it. Like Google are obviously not wanting to be beaten by OpenAI or Microsoft, and they're all testing these things. And then going back to the conversation we had last week, who regulates this stuff? I still see so many videos of what deepfakes look like and what AI people and everything like that. Yeah. So, but no, as soon as I hear that, I'm kind of like, okay, cool. Why aren't we as a business doing our underlying tech software on Python and Google Cloud, etc., as opposed to AWS, right? Where's Amazon in all this?
I'm glad you mentioned this, because you said something on stage on Saturday at the panel at the Brand ME Summit, and you said we're in the services business. Tell me a little bit more about that, because that's interesting. Like, how are we in the services business? Just like elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think agency work, I think if you provide work for clients in the past, if you do branded content and marketing, you're in the services industry just like serving coffee, right? Like, it's a different type of a customer. They work from 9 to 6 and not all night, and they're not paying with their debit cards. But you're in the services industry. You may as well be allowing people on to Burj Khalifa. Like, you're in the services industry, right? It's not tourism, but it's services. And in media, the way that we monetize our content is through services, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that the content that we're creating now is in the services industry, but it is providing service for free. It's providing utilities in entertainment. So I think there's an overlap there, and that's why when I think of the element of us managing subscriptions, if people are subscribing for Smashy, as nearly 1,000 people do, paid every month, and there's 6,000 registered users, mostly to watch the local UAE sports. But for us to have a tech team and a content team and not think that we're responsible for that 18 dirhams a month, and not to think that that's the same as a coffee like Starbucks, then that's us being ignorant and not recognizing that we have a duty to, and the answer is tech. The answer is tech. It's not more people. I keep bringing up this example, but when Disney Plus were launching in the region, they didn't build tech for the region. They they did the wrong tech choice. They had two choices and they picked the worst tech. Then they didn't make any Arab shows. They put people on stage in I forget where the event was. I think Dubai Opera. They put some token Arab actors on stage from some IP that they had without having an Arab show.
All over the place.
Yeah, it looked fancy, it looked Disney, I was impressed, but like they didn't worry about tech, they didn't worry about content, they only worried about who will do our call center when we go to direct to consumer, because Disney were never direct to consumer. They're on TV, they're in movies, they never had to run the cinema chain, and they were doing research like who does Aramex's call center, who does Du's call center, who's the supplier, who will I pay money to do that, right? So if you're thinking, if that's how an entertainment company thinks, like a telco, then that's what I mean, that we're in the services, you know? Yeah. And technology is the answer. Like, you know, there's CPaaS, Customer Platform as a Service. Biggest one in Saudi is called Uniphonic, but you've got Intercom, you've got Twilio, got mixed up between Twilio, yeah, and you've got a few other big ones like that as well.
That's really interesting. The panel was actually fascinating. You talking about how social media is not just for marketing, it's actually our business. That's exactly what you said. And, you know, when you look at everyone from Bloomberg to, you know, Vice failed miserably here, to, you know, even Arabian Business, their social media is not that great. And I think when I first joined here, I was kind of fascinated about the fact that, okay, we're only focusing on social media. We're not, you know, the names of the journalists are not on the posts. You know, we're using Canva to post and everything. It was a very interesting transition, I would say. But it's definitely the right way to go. So we
She's not convinced.
No, I am actually convinced. I think it's fascinating. Look, like whether we like it or not, people do get their news from social media. You know, we get a lot of our news from Twitter, from Instagram, so let alone other people, you know. But so we don't have a guest today. So I'm about to ask you a question that I wanted to ask you on stage on Saturday, sorry. We didn't have the time. And I think it's a question on a lot of people's minds, and I hope I don't get fired after this. But you were going to sell, you were considering selling Lovin Dubai. Why did you opt out of that?
I don't know if I was considering selling it.
Yeah, you weren't considering at all. You just got an offer.
Yeah, I was approached. We were approached. Augustus Media were approached, as we have been over the years, at different times. Which year are you referring to?
I'm referring to sometime last year.
Sometime last year. So that would have been an approach from another business, a media business, and it was an amicable conversation. The person I was speaking to over the summer, 2 or 3 meetings, got on really well with him, really liked the vision, really liked the conversation, should I say. And then there was an offer, a verbal offer about the numbers, and out of respect for both of us, it was kind of like, hey, if you have appetite to go forward, we'll now pay this third-party M&A people. It'll cost us this amount. It'll take this amount of time. And at that time, I didn't want to put strain on our finance team on due diligence. We have a data room that we keep updating. We're quite transparent. We're going to release our 2023 numbers this year. So we have the general stuff that you would have, not for investment, but we just have it ready, right? And I think, Lovin, when you have a mission to build the leading modern media company choice in the region, you will have conversations that you think that can move you forward. So if the right person comes in at the right level to put you amongst the bigger league or the bigger table or whatever, you'll look at that and you'll make a decision around it. So what I realized, the offer was pretty much a full acquisition, and they were quite transparent about that. And that's not something I'm ready to do. I think the way this company is growing, and I think I have a lot of energy and a lot of appetite to continue to lead it. And
yes, we know, Richard. We often wonder here in the company if you ever actually get any sleep. Because you're always on top of like every single thing.
I go to bed early. No, but I mean, it's just, you know, the region is young, media is young in the region. Industry is hard to navigate, but I think it's just decisions. Like I don't feel I'm an entrepreneur. I didn't set this up to exit. It's just about building something meaningful over long term, and the right partner will understand that, right? Like there are people that will come in and go, "Hey, you run it." But I think what I've realized is that other media companies, other media companies want to grow their business, not grow yours. And I've been at the other side of the table. Like on Friday, I had an M&A meeting with another media company, and I could see that the guy, the CEO, he was like me in that flip reverse. He wasn't really articulating it, and I said the words for him. He goes, "Yeah, you get it," because he wants funds to grow his business.
Yeah.
He doesn't want an acquisition, and that's all it was. We wanted funds and we wanted credibility. Like, you can get credibility in different ways. You can get it through marketing. You can get it through buying 7 days. You can get it through winning awards, right? And if a global media company or a big well-known local one gets 10% of you, right? If NBC gets 10% of, I don't know the figure, if they invested a bit in Angami, that's a seal of approval, right? So the next time Angami go for money, they'll go, the person worried to put money in will see that NBC already did.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to, they did, so I will, right?
True.
So I think there's some of that, right? So it's like, how do we get the right sort of credibility at the right time? But also, like, it doesn't have to be another name. The thing is, like, we can become the name. Like, we can become the company.
Exactly. And it's interesting you mentioned that, because we had someone on the show a couple of days ago. I think it was Basel from Rising Giants, and they just got acquired by Saut. And we were discussing, like, should Kareem have, exited? Could they have become, as big as Uber? Did they have the potential? Would people from the region have invested more in Kareem? Do we even need Uber here? And the same with Souk.com as well. Like, Souk.com got acquired by Amazon. Did they sell out? So I think personally you did the right thing, because, if you look at the social media game, like, you're just winning it. And whereas their titles, we're not going to mention the company, but their titles,
don't know who the company is.
Are not doing.
No, it's not just about, look, social media, like, it's algorithms. Like, I don't think the game is to who's winning social media. The platforms are TikTok and Meta. There's no one, like, we're doing well on it. So are creators, so are influencers. But I think building brands need to be, beyond social media as well. Yeah, definitely. Cool. Richard, thank you for your time. It's been an exciting discussion, as always. And thanks for covering the weekend. Good with the exclusives, as ever. Yeah. No, it was a really good summit, honestly. For a first event, I think they did really, really well. There were a lot of big names. And this week, Smashy Business are media partners of Step Conference. Yes. Wednesday morning, Media City. Be there bright and early. I'll be on a panel on Thursday morning. Lovin will be around with the Smashy mic. If you've got any exclusives, any startup successes, failures, any things that you want to reveal, any fundraising rounds, let us know. We'll be posting on social media. We'll do a podcast every day. And then on Monday, you and I are going to go to Qatar. We're going to go to the opening night of Web Summit, the first ever one. 15,000 people sold out. Yes. And we'll spend 2 days getting the juicy tea there as well. Yeah. And then the following week, there's Leap. I don't know if we're going to be there as present on the ground, but we will be reporting it from here. So there's a lot of tech stuff coming up. Absolutely. So if you've been good, we want to hear from you. If you've been bad, you'll be hearing from us. On that bombshell. See you guys tomorrow. Bye. Thank you.